Offlane heroes are usually intended for fighter heroes to sustain solo lane in early to mid game in preparation for future fights such as Cho, Paquito, Yuzong, Alpha, and Guinevere. There are a lot, but I can't really mention everything since, there are a lot of fighters in Mobile Legends. But one hero that caught our attention is the very unique offlaner, which is surprisingly a mage and a tank. So without further ado, I'm Enzo, and I will introduce Alice, the Queen of Blood. Alice comes from a race of blood demons that absorb the life of other beings to survive, just like a vampire. Alice is the queen of this race. She always wanted to reign over the land of Dawn. She intended to invade different regions but lost greatly in battle with the moon elf Estes. In this current meta, she's one of the heroes that are most picked and made her into the top 6 heroes in popularity with a 19.57 band rate because of her spell vamp capabilities, mobility around the map, and her certain tankiness that made her very reliable in skirmishes and team fights, especially her AoE magic damage and crowd control. And to further dive in with her skills, for her passive is Blood Ancestry. A blood orb is generated whenever a minion dies around Alice, which can be absorbed by her, increasing her max HP by 10 permanently and restoring 50 mana for her. After absorbing 12 to 25 to 50 blood orbs, she permanently gains additional 10% cooldown reduction, 15% shield received, and HP restoration or movement speed respectively. For her first skill is Flowing Blood. It's a blink and AoE for short. Alice casts a blood stream in a designated direction, dealing 400 plus 100% total magic power to her enemies. You can use this skill to immediately teleport to the stream's location. Using this first skill often gives your team vision of the enemy team to poke or avoid being ganked. Always be in the lookout at the start of team fights and communicate with your teammates when you intend to go in with your blink. When laning, you can cast this first skill as soon as it hits 3 minions to use this skill again faster since the cooldown begins sooner if you reactivate it. And for her second skill, Blood Awe. It's a crowd control AoE. Alice deals up to 395 magic damage plus a 90% total magic power, surrounding enemies, immobilizing them for 1.2 seconds. Alice will be slowed by 70% after immobilization, lasting for 0.8 seconds. Try to kite melee heroes with your second skill. You can also use this in combination with your first skill to chase down enemies or to run away. And for her third skill or ultimate is the Blood Ode. It's a burst and heal skill at the same time. Alice enters a blood draining state, continuously consuming up to 90 mana and dealing 160 magic damage plus 50% total magic power to surrounding enemies every 0.5 seconds and restoring up to 80% of HP when hitting heroes, reduced by 50% of non-hero units. And on non-hero units, you restore up to 40% HP. When executing this skill, take note of how much mana at all times and how it quickly drains when you use your ultimate. Try to toggle this ultimate off when there is less than 3 or 2 minions in range. And now for the builds. You can utilize her by establishing a solid build to maximize your potential, like Demon Shoes for mana regeneration, Enchanted Talisman for cooldown reduction, Clock of Destiny for additional mage attributes, since she is a mage after all, Cursed Helmet, Antikyrios for her additional durability, and Necklace of Durance for anti-regeneration. For her spells, I personally recommend Petrify and Flicker as her spells. This will help her secure objectives as an off-lane hero. For her emblem configuration, I would recommend the Mage, either Mystery Shop or Impure Rage. And now for the tips and tricks on how to use this hero. Her Blood Ode ultimate can't be cancelled by any means. Thus, Alice can use Winter Truncheon while the skill is active without cancelling it. However, She can neither toggle Blood Ode nor turn it off during Winter Truncheon. Alice is an excellent mage-tank hybrid, so make sure you should maximize her initiating capabilities. Also, her decent sustained damage, good harassing in lane, and her extreme tankiness in the late game. But her disadvantage is that Alice needs time online as a tank. She can't be your main tank in most team compositions. And lastly, Alice is susceptible to running out of mana in a team fight if not managed correctly. For additional tips, try to position yourself near enemies as much as possible in team fights. The more enemies are there around her and susceptible to being kited if crowd controlled. Do not dive recklessly. Alice is a mage tank, but her DPS and regeneration cannot save her from being kited under enemy turrets or being focused on by the enemy team if your tank does not follow you up. Communication and caution are the keys in using Alice. I would highly suggest that you go to the experience lane in early game because of your range advantage to harass the enemy laner, but also know when to back off in case your enemy laner is stronger than you or the enemy team is going to gank. Frequently use your first kill on the bushes to check if you're going to be ganked or not. Try to collect orbs as much as you can since you need them in the passive power spike in the late game. Start rotating to other lanes after the turret shields have fallen to clear minion waves for your team or just to engage in team fights, but remember to clear your own lane as well. However, take note that she is terrible at clearing objectives like the turtle and the lord, so ask your teammates to help you in those. Now that we have given you some tips on how to optimize your abilities, in this next section we will teach you how to counter an Alice when you're faced against her. While Alice can sustain herself and deal constant DPS damage, she is limited by her mana on how she can use her ultimate. So ironically, she is countered by heroes that have regeneration that can stall her long enough to drain her mana like Ruby or Uranus. Well, before she gets the Necklace of Durance, of course. She's also hard countered by Carrie, who is known to be a tank killer, Karina and Balmond as well, who can finish her off quickly with true damage. Baksha is also her weakness because he can reduce her regeneration drastically. Harley is also someone to consider because she counters regeneration heroes due to how his ultimate works. Other counters are burst mages like Eudora and the tank killing Valir. But if you're an Alice and you see all your counters there, I would highly recommend you change your spells to either Aegis or Purify just to give you a chance in surviving. So that's pretty much it with the Queen of Blood. So what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below and don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and don't forget to visit yugatech.com/gaming for more news, tips, and tricks. It's your boy Enzo, and stay safe.